All right, guys, we wanted to put together a recording for those of you that couldn't make the in-person challenge. So to start, just wanted to introduce you to the three nutrition coaches that will be kind of leading this challenge. So we have Selena in Milford, Julia in Nashua, and then Crystal in Pepperell, and they'll all be interacting with you guys in the app and answering any questions you might have through the entirety of the challenge. So before we get into the challenge, it's definitely, nutrition is going to be the cornerstone of this challenge, but it's important to think about other aspects of our overall wellness as well. So think about stress, sleep, exercise, your support system, and lifestyle throughout this challenge, and see how those other areas are going to play a big role in not only your performance but also just reaching your goals, whether that's weight loss or weight gain, body composition, whatever it is. So just be mindful of those throughout the challenge. So the objective of this challenge is to basically help you guys set yourselves up for success. So find out what you need to start with first and then build on it from there. And also through this challenge, we're going to teach how to utilize the tools to help you guys get support on this journey. So to start, one thing to think about is just an overall self-assessment. So think about, what does success look like for you at the end of the challenge? What's worked well for you in the past? What do you struggle with the most? What has inhibited you from seeing results in the past? So just think about those things as we kick off this challenge. And if you're starting to think about goals, maybe at the end of the challenge or maybe at the end of the year, whatever it might be, try to make them SMART goals. So most of you have probably heard this term, but we want them to be specific. So saying I want to lose weight, that isn't specific. We want to maybe think about a specific weight, like is it 10 pounds, 30 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever it is. Pick a number, make it specific. Or maybe it's a body composition. I want to lose 1% body fat, 3%, whatever it is. Make sure it's measurable also. So things like I want to feel better, think about something that might be measurable. So rather than something like feel, maybe think I want to feel more confident. What would help me feel more confident? Maybe fitting in my jeans better. I want to, maybe feeling better means not running out of breath when we walk up a flight of stairs. So think about something that's measurable for you. And then also achievable. So losing 100 pounds in a month, that's not really achievable or healthy. So we don't want to set goals like that. And also make sure it's relevant. So this is there's a lot that could be relevant in this challenge, but our health and fitness and nutrition is going to be a big part of this one. And then also make sure it's time bound. So that's just going to help keep you accountable and doesn't allow you to kind of kick the can down the road as much. So yeah, also think about your why. Your goal might be to lose weight, but maybe think about, why do you want to lose weight? Why is it important to you? Will it make you happier? Will it make you more confident? Think about the why behind your goals. So getting into the basics here, let's just kind of review the basics of healthy habits. So what we want to do is focus on one thing at a time. So once we nail one habit down, then we can start building on that, layering on that, and adding some new habits. So through this challenge, we're really going to focus on one thing every week. And when the next week comes up, it doesn't mean forget about what we did the previous week. Try to build on what we did and continue that habit we built on the first week. And also just some basics. Most of you guys learned this in the on-ramp process when you started, but whole foods is going to be a key here, sticking to foods that aren't processed. Those are going to have a much bigger bang for your buck, and so we want to stick to those. And a challenge, maybe since it's the start of the challenge, clean out your closet, your pantry, your refrigerator of all the bad stuff. Throw it away, give it away, whatever. Just get it out of the house. That's going to make things a lot easier. And then progress over perfection. So just little progress. That's what we're shooting for. We don't need to be perfect right from the start. It's much better to build on progress over time than to do kind of yo-yo type stuff. And then, just look at the label. So, knowing if things are healthy or not, most of the time you can just look at the label. Does it have added sugars? Does it have things you can't pronounce? We want to avoid those type of things. And then what we'll also do is introduce you to the plate method. This is a very basic way to track and measure your food. Something that is very achievable and doesn't take a scale, and it's not very complicated. So we've seen a lot of success from people that follow this. So HSN is who we work with, and their principles is, their principle number one, which aligns perfectly with the CrossFit principle, is to add more whole foods into your diet. So like I was saying, unprocessed foods is the way to go, and that's going to make a big impact. So if you're going to take one thing away from this challenge, add more whole foods to your diet. And then also I mentioned the plate method earlier. So this is a very simple way and really effective way to improve your overall diet. So it's all about eating a balanced meal of high quality food. So the plate method is just a nice simple way. You want to fill half of your plate with non-starchy veggies. So these are like your classic vegetables, broccoli, spinach, Brussels sprouts, all those kind of things. We want to fill half your plate with those because they're going to be packed with vitamins and minerals, and they're not going to have a very high calorie count. So we want to just fill half your plate with those. And then a quarter of your plate, we want to have lean protein. So fishes, chickens, all those kind of things. You guys should have a booklet. If you don't have it yet, you can grab it from your coach next time you see them, and it'll give you a list of good proteins, and I'll come to that in the next slide as well. And then the other quarter of your plate would be starches. So there are better options for starches, but things like sweet potatoes, rice, grains, those are going to be starches, and we want a quarter of your plate to be those. HSN principle number 2 is to focus on balance. So this is mainly our macro nutrients, so balance between proteins, carbs, and fats. So every meal, ideally is going to have a nice balance, but overall throughout the day, that's kind of what you're looking for. So, what we say, if you follow the plate method, it's going to be roughly 30% of your calories are going to be coming from protein, 40% from carbs, and about 30% from fats. And that's kind of the overall target we want to shoot for. So we'll get more into these in a little bit, starting with protein. So protein provides us with important amino acids, which are key to building muscle and recovery. So, a quarter of your plate, we want to focus on protein because it's also going to help us stay full and feel more satisfied. So if you have, temptation to overeat, proteins are going to be a great help for that. And like I said, we want about 30% of our calorie intake to be from protein. So some nice protein sources, some lean is going to be the best option. Like I said, the booklet will have these listed in there, but you can pause the video here and just check out some different lean sources, moderate and fatty. Some things to consider with like bacon, chicken wings, sausages, stuff like that. Those are going to be high in fat, so we don't need to add additional fat. And typically that's going to mean higher calorie count. So just kind of be aware of that as far as protein sources. And then next we have carbs. So carbs kind of get a bad rap, but there's a lot of foods that are going to fit under the carb umbrella. So vegetables are going to be your best option, but there's fruit, breads, pastas, grains, starchy veggies. Those are all considered carbs. And so, we need carbs. They're going to break down into glucose, which is kind of our main source of fuel, especially for high intensity training. We need this type of ready fuel to help us with exercising. So some starchy carbs. So these are what we want maybe to fill that quarter of our plate. A lot of kind of fruits, sweet potatoes, those kind of things. You can check out these here, and obviously low glycemic is the goal, but again, this will give you a good range here. And then we have our non-starchy carbs. So these are like our vegetables. We want to fill half of our plate with these. Things like artichoke, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, all these kind of classic vegetables here. So those are kind of the differences to think about when you're thinking about carbs. All right, and then moving on to fats. So fats, everyone was kind of afraid of fats in the 80s and 90s just because they do have a very high calorie count. But eating fat does not make you fat. So fat helps us stay fuller longer, and it's important for absorbing vitamins and minerals, which help with a lot of functions of our body. So we don't want to get rid of fat completely. But it is important to keep in mind that fats do have a high calorie count. So, as far as volume, you don't want to fill your plate with fats, especially for those of us that are trying to limit calories. Just kind of keep an eye on those fats. So some healthy fats, again, this is in your booklet, but nuts, oils that are made from vegetables, those are going to be our best options for fats. And again, meat is going to have fat in it as well, or some meats. All right, so then HSN principle number 3 is to limit the amount of added sugar. So again, this goes right along with the CrossFit methodology, trying to reduce sugar as much as possible. There's no benefit to it. It doesn't help us, so we want to try to limit this as much as possible. And this is definitely hard. The average person consumes over 150 pounds of sugar per year. So, this is definitely something that a lot of people struggle with. And I would just say, take baby steps. Try and reduce it over time rather than cut it out completely. If you can cut it out completely, then by all means go for it. But try to find the right approach for you. So moving on to kind of the performance basics here. We want to nail down the basic functions of nutrition first, and then build from there. So like hydration is a big thing. We're going to focus on that for a week, and focus on eating high quality foods with a balance of lean protein, healthy fats, slow digesting carbs, vegetables, so that we get a good recovery from our nutrients, but also sleep is going to be a big part of performance. And then something kind of more specific to performance, this will help with your recovery, is a post-workout plate method. So this will be a little bit different than the other meals we eat, because our bodies are going to be in a state we're ready to use that protein, use that starch, those carbs right away. So maybe increasing our protein and starches right after our workouts is going to be beneficial. So that's also going to be something we're going to do throughout the challenge. So the HSN app is a great way to keep track of all this stuff and also help keep us accountable. There'll also be weekly videos. Even if you every day when you click on the app, there's going to be some helpful videos that are going to relate to the challenge that week. It'll also be a place to ask questions. So we're going to definitely encourage you guys to ask questions in the group rather than reach out individually to your coach, because some people might have the same question. So definitely reach out in the app. And also, simple things like, maybe I struggle with protein sources because I'm vegetarian or something. Maybe someone else in the group has a lot of ideas for, high protein that is plant-based. So definitely ask those questions in the group. And like I said, the coaches are going to be active there, but the other participants are going to be there too, and they might have something helpful to add. So as far as the challenge videos, there's going to be nutrition tips, mindfulness tips, kitchen tips, some recipes, and then there'll be 4 new videos each week of the challenge. So there's going to be a lot of those. Definitely check them out. HSN will put those out, and they're all generally real good videos to watch. And then as far as habit tracking, the most successful clients are the ones that are engaged. So definitely try to stay engaged in the group, and then just track your goals. So, making sure we, click complete on those habits if we do them. That's also how we're going to keep score. And so definitely track those habits in the app. All right, and then messaging, like I said, message the group. You can also message the coach individual if there's something that is maybe more private or whatever, but questions and stuff like that definitely do through the group. And then as far as the HSN app overall, it's a very useful tool as far as habits and just way to communicate with your coach. So definitely download that if you haven't yet. Play around with it and make sure you're ready to go starting on Monday. All right, so as far as habits, the habits for this challenge are meant to be easy so that you can feel success and build on those. These habits are just the beginning. So once we kind of dial these down, there's going to be opportunity to build on those, especially if you want to continue on with ongoing nutrition coaching. Then we can get very kind of specific to your goals and your lifestyle with habits. But these ones are just general ones that everybody's going to benefit from. So there's going to be, things like the plate method, your pre-post workouts, proteins, hydration challenge, including protein with every snack. So we'll do different habits throughout this challenge. And then, like I said, we can always build on those if you wanted to continue on later. All right, so just some FAQs. Do I have to log my food? So no, you don't have to. This is something that's definitely challenging for a lot of people and isn't sustainable. So that's where the plate method comes in. But if you are the type that is good at tracking and weighing your food and you don't mind, then by all means, that's going to be the most accurate way to do that, and we can provide you with numbers. But yeah, like I said, the plate method is going to be a great way, or you can even use your hand, like 2 fists of non-starchy vegetables. That's going to be like half your plate, and then maybe 1 hand cup of starchy carbs, and then something about the size of the palm of your hand or 2 for your protein, and then maybe just like your thumb as far as fats. Another question might be, do I have to eat starchy carbs? So again, carbs aren't necessarily bad for you within moderation, so don't just avoid them. But we do want to stick to the lower glycemic ones, and limit our carbs so that we're not getting limit our starchy carbs like grains, potatoes, those kind of things, because that's when you can kind of overdo it with carbs really easily as far as volume. Can I eat a sandwich? Yes, for sure. We can still have sandwiches if that's something you enjoy. Just try to think about better options down the road, like maybe doing a open face sandwich, or trying to add some veggies to the sandwich, or a lettuce wrap, or options that are going to be a little bit lower carb. So trying to reduce those breads and grains as much as we can. Another question would be snack bars. Are there snack bars you can have? There are some, but just kind of be aware of what you're choosing. So a lot of snack bars are marketed as like healthy or limited ingredients, but there's still going to be very high carbohydrate content and low in protein. So find sources that are nice clean ingredients that you can read and understand, but also look at the protein to carb ratio. Make sure it's not just all carbs. We have some at the gym, the Aloha bars. Those are going to be a much better option than, say, the Over Easy bars, which are going to be very high in carb. And RX bars, Perfect bars, those are some better options as well. Another question, I don't like veggies. What do I do? I would just kind of challenge you guys to think, do you not like vegetables, or do you not like the way that they've been prepared? So there's a lot of different ways that you can make vegetables enjoyable. So, that's where recipes and leaning on everyone else in the challenge and your coach looking for ideas, I think that's going to be the best option, because there's a lot of benefits to vegetables. So just saying you don't like them and avoiding them long term, that's not going to be a great solution. So let's find ways where maybe we can start introducing vegetables in ways that you do like. And then, can I still eat my favorite foods? Yes, we don't want to, go cold turkey if that's going to not be sustainable. So think about just be aware and mindful when you're eating. So if you want pasta, maybe fill that quarter of your plate with pasta instead of the majority of the plate, and then maybe fill your other half of the plate with like salads or other vegetables, and then you can have meatballs in that other quarter. All right, and then what happens after the challenge? So the key thing is just make sure you keep it going. So keep these habits up, build on what you've learned in the challenge. If you want to continue on with the nutrition coach, they're definitely going to help with accountability and finding you some new habits that are maybe more specific to your goals, or your individual goals. And also, just added benefit, you basically get the challenge for free if you continue on with individualized nutrition coaching, because we are discounting the first 3 months, like that initial on-ramping phase. We're discounting that $50 a month if you've done the challenge. So it's basically like you get the challenge for free if you wanted to continue on with nutrition coaching. But we can talk about that more with your nutrition coach at the end of the challenge. And then as far as like kind of how to win, we're going to be doing weekly challenges, which will have prizes that you can win. We'll also we're going to kind of keep those prizes a secret, but they're pretty awesome. And then that'll be judged based off of your habit tracking, also how you interact with the group. And then there'll also be an overall winner for individual, which is going to get, at each location, actually, they're going to get a week of Nutri-Meals. So those are the pre-made meals that get delivered to the gym. And then the overall winner across all 3 locations is going to get a $100 gift card to massage and some other great prizes. So yeah, definitely keep track of your habits, be engaged in the group, and that's how you're going to win. And then, of course, the biggest win is to get some results and build some long-lasting habits. So again, the more engaged you are, the more successful you're more likely to be. So Take advantage of everything we're providing. Use the app. Just basically stay engaged for these next 28 days. The workout portion of it, if you haven't seen it, it's going to be a 500-meter row, 40 air squats, 30 sit-ups, 20 push-ups, and 10 pull-ups. And again, you can modify the push-ups and pull-ups as needed, but just note that because we're going to retest this in a month. So the first one you're going to do over the next few days, do that on your own in open gym or off to the side before class or something. And then the retest we're going to do as the main class programming. So if you show up to class on that day, it'll probably be the last Monday. We'll do that as the main workout, and everybody's going to do it. Everybody's going to do it, and it'll be great to see your progress as far as like the performance workout. So again, thank you guys, and good luck. We'll see you on the other side.